Hi conservation crew, and welcome to another episode of Nature Diaries. So as promised from last week, we are now in Hampshire in the New Forest, and we're at a nature reserve called Blashford Lake. Now this nature reserve is actually managed by the wildlife trusts, so it's bound to be amazing. So let's go and have a look around.
Hello conservation crew, and welcome to the European badger, which is the UK's largest mustelid species. So what is a mustelid? Well, essentially it's a group of animals that's defined by its long body, their short legs, but they also have a musk gland or scent gland at the rear as well. So in the UK we actually have 6 species of native mustelid: the badger, the otter, the pine marten, the polecat, the stoat and the weasel, but we also have the invasive American mink as well. So badgers are a native animal, and they're found throughout all of Europe and a bit further as well within their range. In the UK it's thought that they're a bit more social than they are on the continent though, and it's thought that this is because of pressure in terms of the amount of habitat and also the suitable land to dig in. So badgers do create setts, and some of them can be centuries old, so generation after generation will use these setts. They're quite clean animals, and you can see them often changing their bedding, and it's thought that this can help rid the setts of actual parasites and things like ticks and mites and so on. But some of them also let the grass ferment, so it creates like a central heating system, so it can be quite warm in the setts, and some records show that it gets to up to 38 degrees during the winter. So you can see it's a great thing they've evolved to do to keep warm over winter, so they don't have to actually hibernate. Now badgers are omnivores. You'll see them eating fruits and berries. They particularly like things like earthworms, but they'll also feed on carrion too. So they are a species sort of under threat, even though the population is increasing. They're often blamed as a vector in bovine TB, so they can be persecuted. But here at Conservation Chat UK, we love the European badger, and hopefully soon we'll get some camera traps out and show you some of the real things as well.
Look, above my head. The coolest things just happened, guys. I was kneeling down by this lake and I was trying to take some photos of some mushrooms, and a robin came down onto the log that the mushrooms were on, and it just chilled with us for ages. It wasn't afraid of us at all, and it kept getting closer and closer, and it just stood there for ages while I took loads of footage and some lovely photos of it. And then it started to sing. So we've made a friend today. That's my holiday goals achieved. Make friend with a robin. This park's really lovely, so I'd highly recommend checking it out if you're in the area. All the leaves have changed colour, they're all lovely in yellows and oranges and things, which is one of my favourite things about this time of year. But also there's loads of bird life, and it's super quiet. So if you want a lovely peaceful walk around a lake, come here. I think I spoke too soon when I said that this park was lovely and quiet. So we've decided to take the long walk. So there's two options, the long walk or the short walk. So we decided to do the long walk around the lake, but unfortunately most of it is by a busy A road. So it's a bit noisy, not as peaceful as further in there.
Yes, and it sort of shows how like nature's on a knife edge and these urban environments are sort of right next to a pristine nature reserve. So it's like a complex issue, I guess, conservation. But we saw much more wildlife on the other side of the reserve compared to this side.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we're trying to get back to the quiet bit.
So Laura and I just mentioned that we're quite near a road, so hopefully you can hear me. But it's funny because actually on the drive here, obviously we use these roads, but we were sort of saying about how it's sort of a sad state of affairs that our road verges are some of the most important habitat in the country now. So you see lots of wildflowers over there in the spring and summer. It's like a safe haven for small mammals such as voles, and you'll always see like kestrels and so on hunting in quite a narrow strip of land, which are our road verges. So it's glad that nature can take them back, but it's also quite a sad position to be in. There's some lovely lakes on today's walk, and some of them are actually man-made and reclaimed, such as this one behind us. And if you just think through history, we've lost so much of our wetlands and they've been drained for agriculture and so on. And now, you know, we're starting to realise more and more how important they are for nature, but also how important they are for carbon stores. So wetlands, reed beds, seagrasses and so on are just vital underwater stores for carbon. So it's great the Wildlife Trust are bringing these back, and you know, it's already paying off. The bird life here is immense.
Cool. So we've just arrived here at this kind of reservoir, and just down here there's loads of fly agaric mushrooms. They're absolutely stunning, but I'm assuming that they're poisonous because they're bright red, and usually bright red means danger. So many of our mushroom species and fungi species in the UK are actually dangerous to eat. So if you are into foraging, or you would like to go foraging for mushrooms, I would highly recommend that you go with a trained guide. Don't just go in picking up whatever, because you could unintentionally harm yourself. See, I was right. I knew it was toxic. I was sure it was toxic, but I had no idea that it was the inspiration for Santa Claus's red and white suit. I learn something new every day. Now apparently these fly agaric mushrooms, if eaten or ingested, they can actually cause hallucinations and psychotic episodes. So don't be chewing on a fly agaric anytime soon, guys. So that's it, guys, for this episode of Nature Diaries. We've had a really lovely walk. I'd highly recommend coming and checking this place out. But now we're going to continue the rest of our day, and we're going to head over to a different place and some kind of common. I never know where I'm going half the time, so you'll find out if you tune in to the next episode. So I'll see you in the next one.